statue, Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Thank you for that intro, Gerhard, and we are brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue. Today's guest is walking across America. He's walking for heroes, and another guy is on here. His name is Carl Wentworth, is the guy doing the walking across for America for heroes, and another is a return guest that we've had on here a few times is Matt Bein. He's a retired Marine, and we're going to talk with both of them. Stay where you are and get you a pen. Be right back. Welcome back into Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here, and today I've got a guy that's walking across the United States in honor of the heroes. We'll talk about that. And then Matt Bein. Welcome to the show, Matt Bein.
Hey.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
And welcome to the show, Mr. Wentworth.
Thank you.
And I told you when I first met you that I think about the money, the Wentworth thing. So
yeah,
you said you can't do it. Give him a call for me. I need some money. First of all, Carl, we want to talk about why you're doing this. Why are you walking for heroes?
Well, there's a few reasons. I have a lot of family members that served. My father's a retired staff sergeant, tour in Korea, 3 in Vietnam, 2 Bronze Stars. You know, when he passed, it was tough to get him buried properly, and that played on my mind. And seeing the homeless vet out on the street asking for dollars, that made me curious enough to ask them about why they were, and listening to their stories. I figured I'd go for a walk for them.
I wish I could walk. I can't get to the mailbox. But now, for those that's out here watching, hearing you talk, that's a Boston accent. From Boston. You're from where in Massachusetts?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester. So that's, we'll say from now on, that's Boston, and you're walking.
I did start in Boston, Castle Island.
Yeah. I said you're walking for heroes, so you're walking for heroes.
Walking.
So that's great. I appreciate anybody there. We had a fellow on here. Matt, you remember, what was the guy's name that we've had on here before?
Brendan O'Toole.
Yeah, Brandon. And he was walking to the East Coast, and if I remember right, he got hit in the knockout game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he was a victim of the knockout game that they were playing, or not really playing, but somebody pulled it on him.
In New Jersey or somewhere in one of them foreign countries up there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's horrible. But let me ask you, where'd you start, Carl?
Fort Independence, Castle Island.
Where's that?
Boston, Massachusetts. Which is just south of Logan Airport.
When did you start?
On Veterans Day.
This past Veterans Day?
Yes.
Well, you've been getting along with the dog, haven't you?
Yeah, but I've got slowed down a little bit with the weather.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Throw you a curve. What's the one thing that stands out in your mind as the strangest, weirdest, funniest thing that's happened since you left?
The strangest, weirdest, funniest.
Either one. Pick one.
Well, the strangest thing for me, when I went to Arlington National Cemetery, I videotaped the changing of the guards.
Yeah.
And I had left my cart at the bottom of the stairs and got approached by a security guard and asked me if it was mine. I told him it was, and he said, "You're all right. Just do what you're gonna do." And I videotaped the changing of the guards. And then I went back to my cart to walk away, and he's like, "Hey, you, come on." and I thought for sure that they were gonna just go through the bag to see what was in there and stuff like that, which was no big deal because it's just my tent and sleeping bag. But when I went over to him, he told me that the guards wanted to meet me, and that was a shocker, and it surprised me a little bit. So I went in the chamber and I met the guard that came off and the sergeant that had changed them. and there was another guard inside, and we took some pictures and talked, and then I left, and as soon as I walked out, I wanted to make the post, and I couldn't remember their names. I was so surprised. I couldn't tell you Bill, Bob, Tom.
Yeah.
So I just said, God bless y'all, and
Yeah.
and that was really nice that they surprised me like that, wanted to meet me.
That was that's quite an honor, and I'd have been off guard, speechless myself if that ever happened. And let me switch over for a minute. I got to take advantage of this because I got Matt here. Matt, for those who don't remember, March has just passed. We just finished March, and that's TBI month.
Yep.
Traumatic brain injury, and you got one in you got yours over in Afghanistan, if I'm correct.
Yes.
All right. I saw something here recently. You just got you a house donated.
Yes, I did.
I don't mean a house. I mean a home.
Yeah, it's just one of the biggest.
3 or 4 bedrooms, something like that.
Yeah, it's a 4-bedroom. I mean, it's a beautiful house.
I know it. I saw it.
And
saw a picture of it.
It's just a humongous blessing from, people that I've never met or anything like that had found me, and they wanted me to have a nice house to raise my kids in, and they sure enough gave it to me.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Well, I can only imagine what that's like to take a burden of shelter for your family off your shoulders, and you've earned a bit of that. And you're the poster child for what I talk about all the time. All wounds are not visible, so
Yeah.
you can't see your traumatic brain injury from the IED, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyhow, where are you? What is your car? Back to you, Carl. What is your destination? Where are you going? You left Massachusetts. Where are you going to end up at?
Well, when I started, I wanted to do it sea to shining sea, so I figured I'd go Boston to LA.
Mm-hmm.
If I reach the Pacific Ocean, I made my destination though.
I know about going to California, man. I used to live out there in California. Done got so crazy. You may have to take a good shower before you get out of there, because that's there's people out there watching from California going to give me a phone call. But no, is it like when you get to California, you see the ocean? Is that you say, I'm here?
Yeah, until I can't walk any further west. Sea to shining sea.
Yeah.
And I've looked online. A couple people have gone coast to coast before, and it seems like 40 going into California is the route most of them take. So that's the way I figured I'd go.
Yeah.
It could change. If you told me I'd be down this far when I left, I would have said no way. I was going to just go straight across, but my father being buried out in Long Island, I thought it'd be a good thing to go down to Arlington and maybe get out of the weather. And every state has snowed on me right up until Georgia.
Wow. Well, you have got through some bad weather, because today, as we do this show, it's this first day we had any decent weather. I mean, the pollen's out, but it's been cold and rainy. But I want to make sure before we go to break that I get this out there. You can go on Facebook and look up Walking for Heroes. Is that it?
Yes.
And your friend, and that way they can tell how you can help him through the Walking for Heroes on Facebook. We're gonna have to go to a break, and then we'll come back. We're gonna talk more with Carl and Matt. But go to that Facebook and friend at Walking for Heroes, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Be right back. Get you a pen. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking Carl Wentworth and Matt Bein, and we're talking about Carl is walking across America from sea to shining sea for heroes. Let me ask you something there, Carl. Give me your definition of a hero. Who you walking for?
I would say any man and woman that ever served in any armed forces.
Okay. Could I get you to include anyone that's ever wore the uniform, whether they're law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, Army, Air Force, Navy?
Absolutely. They got a tough gig as well. I mean, there's a lot of things I could walk for, and I picked the soldier.
Yeah, I got you. Well, see, the reason I say that is Matt and I wore a uniform. We raised our right hand, but every law enforcement, every state trooper that y'all went past today on the way down here to doing 65, they raised their right hand also, and
That's right.
They risk their life every day, as do the military. And I always like to include them in, that they did the same thing. Every time they walk up behind some tinted windows, you can imagine at nighttime when you're walking around behind it, you don't know whether there's somebody there with a Glock, So I put them in the...
I got to say, right along the way, all the police that I've encountered, have been really nice.
That's great.
And helpful.
That's great. I always try to thank them for that, because I really honestly feel like that.
Most of them are vets.
The one thing
A lot
I
of
think,
them are vets.
absolutely. I was going to say that a lot of people come out of the military. That's one career they go to, and Matt's involved in we have a thing called Veterans Treatment Court, and through the work that he's doing and others are doing here in the Veterans Treatment Court, we have somebody that, let's say, comes out of Afghanistan, and they've been on alert all this time, and somebody gets in their face. They're so tense that they might do something like that ruins their life, that they can't get a job in law enforcement because they have a felony, and they may have hit an officer because they were not ready to be introduced back into society. And for that, their career's lost. So a lot of them come back, and with the Veterans Treatment Court, they can have that removed from their record. That leaves a option for people coming back out. They make great law enforcement people. But when law enforcement, like you said, a lot of them are military. So that's good out there. Now this, when I asked you some of the events, you told me about the one at Arlington. Anything else? That's enough. The one at Arlington. But anything else stand out as funny or whatever? Dog get after you or?
Well, I've had plenty of dogs come after me, but I was
you got a pork chop in your pocket, eh?
No, but I was on the North Carolina-South Carolina border, and they got hit with 3 days of snow, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and pretty much everything shut down. And I seen a little creek that was close enough to a gas station. I figured I'd pitch my tent down there. I walked 100 yards down and pitch a tent. Maybe no one would see me. And the third night I was there, I had heard the plows plowing all day. So I was getting a little stir crazy and wanted to go. About 1 o'clock in the morning, I figured I'd roll my bags up and get going. I was rolling my sleeping bag up inside my tent, and I heard a meow. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty big kitty. And I didn't want to leave my tent. I got a little buck knife, and I'm sitting with my knife going, please don't come in here. One little swipe of his paw, and he's right in there with me. In the morning when I left my tent, the tracks were a foot aside of my tent, and they were bigger than my hand. It was, and I'm 150 pounds. I wasn't crashing through the snow, and this thing was crashing through the snow.
Wow.
So I never seen it, but I can only imagine what it looked like. It was pretty big, and it was definitely a cat because it meowed.
That's scary.
One of those mountain lions.
Don't believe I want none of that. Matt, what's the latest down there with maps in Bell City? That's military.
Military assistance, personal support.
Yeah.
And right now we're going through this week, actually Thursday, we have the meeting for all the mentor groups in the area. We're getting Jefferson County, trying to get Shelby County and Calhoun County's veteran court mentors.
Veteran court, okay.
And we're going to have a little training meeting to set up further educational options for the mentors and the veterans themselves.
You're going to have some of the mentors from the county here, St. Clair County and all those other, and you're going to have some of the veterans also?
No. None of the veterans that are in the court.
Yeah.
But the mentors that are there.
Okay, I got you. I thought you were having some of the veterans that are in the process. But do you know how many? I'll throw you a curve. Anyway, roughly how many has been through the court there in St. Clair County?
We've only had since the program started, which it takes almost a year to get through. Yeah. We had our first graduate last December, and we're having our next one this month in April. I think it's April 12th is when he's graduating, and it'll be our second one. So far, I think we have 12 total in the Veterans Court. And, not a lot of it's drug related or anything like that, but other charges that, they need help getting off their record, they can go through the Veterans Court program, and it'll be, as soon as they complete that, the year process, it's wiped off their record, and they don't have to worry about it.
Wow. Carl, back to your day, you said you have a tent.
I could use some help with that now.
Could you? You need you say you take your tent and set it up in different places. That's your main?
For the most part, yes. I pitch my tent, and along the way I've met some people that were inspired by the walk and want to help me and make it easier. They'll call ahead of me and see if they can get me a hotel. If it's too cold, now I've met a few people, and one in particular, John, who's a DJ. He's been calling ahead of me, and he's been a big help for me. He's trying to make it easy for me. I'll pitch my tent. I don't mind staying in my tent, but I mean, the hotel room with the shower is really
it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about that cat come running in there either, Chef.
Right.
Yeah. That's on this Walking for Heroes on Facebook. There's a PayPal account on there.
Yeah, my sister made up a PayPal account that if anyone wanted to donate to, maybe buy me lunch or something like that, that they can donate through that, and then I just call her up if I need money, and she'll wire me money to, through a MoneyGram or something. Well,
I tell you, before we run out of time, I want to say, anybody we got a lot of heroes out there, and a lot of them didn't make it to the status that Matt and I did. They didn't make it here today, so you're walking for them too. Those that are not,
I've pitched my tent right next to them, and ate off the food trucks in New York City with them, and there's some pretty amazing guys out there.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it, and good luck on you too. And Matt, you're welcome back anytime. You're just down the road. And he did drive more than 65. I think he was doing 66 to make it here in the time he did today, folks. We'll be right back. I got some news that you can use. Stay right there. Welcome back. Ken Rollins here, and I appreciate Carl and Matt coming by today and doing the show. I hope you got something out of it. Remember that PayPal account on Facebook, and you can help Carl out on his journey. That's a good yeoman's work there that he's doing. Something new I want to do this week. You got my phone number here, 256-831-2838, right on the screen right here somewhere. I want you to, if you know someone or if you have an extra automobile that you don't need, that you'd like to donate, I know at least 2 people that are definitely in need of a vehicle, and they need to go to see their grandchildren, etc. But you can get a tax write-off for doing that. If you'll contact me, now this is a operational, dependable vehicle. I don't mean it a piece of junk. But if you got an extra vehicle that you don't need, like a tax write-off, you give me a call at 256-831-2838, and we'll make the arrangements on that. I also want to remind you, I forget to do this every week, or some weeks, but on Monday at 6:30 p.m. right here on TV 24, Shop 24, where you get some great bargain. Eddie Reese is on there with the Shop 24, so remember that. Put it on your calendar for Monday at 6:30. Thanks to everybody about this law enforcement tag. This has been a blessing to help us raise some funds for the memorial that we're going to build here in Anniston. It also helps raise funds for the one in Washington, D.C., for those fallen law enforcement people. And this is the tag I'm talking about right there with that shield, with that rose. That's symbolic of the National Law Enforcement Memorial. And so if you decide to buy an automobile tag, you do not have to be in law enforcement or associated with law enforcement. You can get that tag. Just tell the tag office you'd like to see that. And wouldn't that look good on the back of your car when a law enforcement comes by and you're doing like Matt, you're doing 66 miles per hour and you pull up behind you, see that and says, no, just kidding. And I want to thank WEAC TV 24 for every week I want to do this. I want to make sure that people know that they don't have to give me the time to do this, but this is for veterans, and this is the only way veterans get the information. And they also have you can find us on the WEAC TV 24 website. Just hit the on demand button on to the right, and you can bring up all the Veterans Issue shows on there. And folks, we need some help over to Cheehaw Regional Humane Shelter for blankets, throw sheets, treats, and other items that animals might need. If you want to help out in that situation, the phone number is 256-241-3647. And Angie and them over there are doing a great job. And Jane Cunningham, I'm trying to get her on this show to talk about that, because us veterans, we have animals too. And Veterans Moments is a program that we have here. It's a commercial. It's about the bills that get passed in Montgomery. I started to say Washington, but the bills that are passed in Montgomery by our legislator. You don't know about them unless we tell you here on WEAC TV 24. So we have a thing called Veterans Moments. It's sponsored by K.L. Brown, Steve Hurst, Randy Wood, and Barbara Boyd. And that's good information. And if you see them, thank them for putting that information out. The veterans don't have any other way of knowing about bills that are passed if they don't get it here. Pay it forward, I tell you, every week. Pay it forward. I did on the way here this morning, about $3.85. But I got to tell you, I saw this woman in the rearview mirror, and she was mad at all those people, and she was upset when she found out her sandwich had been paid for. She started smiling. So I made somebody's day, made my day too. So anyhow, I'm running out of time. Let me see what I got to do here. I got to do some shout outs. Betty Carr, I can't forget you. Caitlin, Bella, to you. And this week, salute goes out to Carl Wentworth for his walk for heroes. And may the wind be at his back as he makes it across the state. We'll see you here next week on Veterans Issues. Salute.